Crisis number 1. Guys, this has been an issue that has been, this has been a series that has been teased for quite a while now. This whole notion of heroes and villains going through post-traumatic stress syndrome or disorder, whatever you want to call it, PTSD, or any kind of psychological disorder or dysfunction or mental illness caused as a result of them uh, fighting villains or fighting heroes. It was set up by the Trinity, this place called Sanctuary, and it's literally that, a place where heroes and villains can go to heal themselves and become better. And essentially, this series it involves a murder mystery. It's a murder that takes place. One of the inmates of the asylum, so to speak, one of the so-called patients at Sanctuary, has apparently murdered every single other patient at the Sanctuary. And this issue is just an opening issue with things just getting warmed up, and that's the title of the issue, just warming up. Involves the Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, approaching the Sanctuary, which is located, I believe, in the farmland, in the heartland of Kansas, in what almost looks like an exact replica of the Kent family farm, or at least you get that feel. In fact, the robots, the Kryptonian robots that help sort of run the Sanctuary, they look like they're Garfield. They look like the robots that look exactly like Jonathan and Martha Kent, or at least very much like you would expect them to look, and which is a little bit odd. And especially since I don't know why Superman would want to do that, because why would he want any sort of familiarity of the Sanctuary to where he grew up? Because you'd think he'd want to, make it less likely that people could maybe figure out his secret identity. But that's a nitpick. That's a nitpick I have. In any event, let's get into this issue. First of all, the art by Clay Mann. I mean, beautiful cover here. I got the other covers. I'm not going to show them. It's because I'm not. They're actually downstairs. I don't feel like going and getting them, to be honest with you. But I gave away the digital codes to people on Twitter on the other covers for Heroes and Crisis. Beautiful covers. Right, this is why I think it's Kansas. Superman flying to Kansas. He's flying to the Sanctuary, and he arrives at the Sanctuary, and he sees that there's a lot of death there. It seems like the crows are already eating some of the body and the blood of the victims of Sanctuary, and Superman is flying to see. Wonder Woman's coming in on the scene. Batman's coming in on the scene, and Superman sees there's a number of dead heroes. There's Commander Steel. There's this green guy, don't know who he is. There's a Sanctuary chick, don't know who she is. And then there's this new guy called Hotspot, who we don't know who he is. He's nobody important. That's one of the other things. There's some unimportant characters in here. I don't know why they're in here. But Superman arriving on a scene. He's checking things out. And he discovers the spoiler. It's not much of a spoiler. Apparently, Wally West and Arsenal are dead. And guys, let me tell you something. My favorite Flash is Wally West, and I could care less that he's dead. There's absolutely no emotional power. There's no emotional impact of this series, of this issue at all. You feel nothing. There's no build up to it. There's just no sense of loss. You don't really. We never really got Wally West. I mean, I was so happy he was back in Rebirth, and here he's just dead. The last we saw of Wally West, it was at the end of Flash War. Superman had mentioned Barry Allen had called Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman after Wally was really screwed up psychologically after the end of the Flash War, because he still can't find his wife Linda and his twin children, who are somewhere trapped or lost in the Speed Force, and so he's all psychologically compromised, and so they figure, let's send Wally West to the Sanctuary. And then the next time we see Wally West, we see his corpse. That's it. So we don't really. There's no shoot spot here. There's no. I mean, this was really this really was lacking in any kind of emotional resonance at all. And the bulk of the issue has to do, and this was, I think this was a big mistake. It had Booster Gold in it. It's a stupid character for a series like this. Booster Gold is a character who Tom King bastardized in the pages of Batman. He was written out of character. He's still out of character here. It's not making any sense. Dialogue's all off. Booster Gold in the pages of Batman was crazy. He was Looney Tune. He traveled back in time to save Bruce Wayne's parents. He was off his rocker. So I guess maybe he's gone crazy, or he was loopy, because he wasn't making any sense in the pages of Batman. So maybe it makes sense that Booster Gold, if he's crazy, send him to the Sanctuary to cure his mind. Anyways, he's there. For some reason, Harley Quinn's at the Sanctuary. Why would Harley Quinn be at the Sanctuary as a patient? I don't know. She's a member of the Suicide Squad. Why would they let Harley Quinn in the Sanctuary? That's a stupid thing to do. Why? Because they have to know that Harley Quinn has a bomb in her head, because she's also a member of Suicide Squad. So if they're so concerned about the protection of people at the Sanctuary, why are you letting Harley Quinn at the Sanctuary when she's got a bomb implanted in her head that Amanda Waller will probably push a button and have her explode her head off at any time, because she's not supposed to leave the Suicide Squad? Or maybe I missed something in the pages of Suicide Squad. Anyways, again, this is a lot of my nitpicks here have to do with continuity, of course, because you can't, if you focus on continuity, this story will really make no sense at all. Okay? And Tom King he conveniently avoids continuity pretty much all the time in order to make his point. But again, if you just read this, if you're a newbie and you're reading this and you haven't read comics in a long time, or even if you're just a casual DC reader and you pick this up, you're going to like this. And I recommend it because you'll enjoy it. I think you will. You'll get it. It's not going to make you cry. It's not going to make you go, oh no. It's just, this really, really misses the boat emotionally. This is the biggest disappointment of this. It just misses the boat. The issue itself is called I'm Just Warming Up. And that's a reference to one of the characters in here called Hotspot, who is killed. And he talks about himself. He always says that he thought it'd be cool. He's an unknown sort of young superhero. Actually, he's just an unknown kid, and that's his catchphrase, I'm just warming up. And he talks about how it's important to have a catchphrase so that people remember you by. And unfortunately, even Superman doesn't remember him. And as a matter of fact, I forgot him the minute I was done reading the comic book, because he's actually that uninteresting. So the fact that he died, I mean, is it surprising that Superman forgot that he had a catchphrase? I mean, Superman himself actually says, there's a thing he used to say, wasn't there? I can't remember. So even Superman, with a super memory, can't remember this guy named Hotshot. That's how forgettable he is. So that's pretty good. Tom King, you created a character that even Superman doesn't want to remember, even after that character is killed. That's funny. Kind of interesting how you did that, Tom. Anyways, I'm being a little hard on Tom King here. Actually, I'm actually, truth is, when it comes to Tom King on this story, I'm just getting warmed up. I'm sorry, see what I did there? Anyways, the actual dialogue between Booster Gold and Harley Quinn was actually kind of fun to read, even though Booster Gold's voice is off. Harley Quinn's voice is fine. Her dialogue's fine. Harley Quinn's crazy, so it's not possible to badly write Harley Quinn because she's a crazy character, and whatever you write for her is justified by the fact that she's crazy. And basically, Harley Quinn and Booster Gold, they meet. The whole issue is them fighting because they think the other one is the killer that wiped out everyone in the Sanctuary. And it's a beautiful fight scene, beautiful scenes. Starts off in a cafeteria, and there's, the dialogue, really a lot of filler, no substance at all in this story. Not a lot of substance, not a lot of revelation. We already know the style that Tom King has. We see it in Mr. Miracle. He's gone 11 issues in Mr. Miracle, and really there's only been probably one issue worth of substance in terms of the story. The rest is all filler in terms of the relationship between Big Barda and Mr. Miracle, which isn't necessary to know or necessary to see, really not to move it forward, because he just likes taking very ordinary, average scenes and juxtaposing them against something far more extreme and violent. And that's what he's doing here. So in this one, Tom King is juxtaposing extreme scenes of violence where Superman is um, staring at dead bodies, and corpses as he's approaching Sanctuary. Meanwhile, as it shows the corpse of the victims, it will show them talking in a nine-panel grid, as a way to, you know, getting to know the person that was just murdered. So, in that respect, I guess he's trying to show that these were human beings, and this is unfortunate and tragic, and unfortunately, well, I understand what Tom King was doing. It really doesn't work because first of all, unfortunately, as per usual, Tom King's dialogue's just dumb. I don't. The hotspot talking about him having a catchphrase. So what? Other than it just seems so contrived and forced. I guess this reinforces the fact that Superman doesn't remember him. I don't know. And then you got Arsenal. Arsenal talks about yeah, he's talking about saving things. It's really you can really see almost similar styles and dialogue between this and his Mr. Miracle. Um, it's obvious that this is going back and forth. That these are patients, and he's trying to reinforce the tragedy of it all and what the Sanctuary is about. My biggest, as I said, hinted before, my biggest disappointment was seeing Wally West there. Wally West and Arsenal being killed. I'm not a fan of Arsenal. I don't care that he's dead. Wally West was my favorite Flash. I gave up on him because DC abandoned him. Rebirth. Wally West was the face of Rebirth, and now he's dead. And I'm not shedding a tear. I just don't care. I would much rather have Wally West. I truly want him to stay dead because I don't want Wally West to be alive in this DC universe. Put him off elsewhere to the multiverse where he can go to a place where there's actually hope and rebirth. Get him off this Earth. Get him off this particular mainstream DC universe because Hideo and the DC crew don't deserve him. Put him somewhere else. And now rumor has it that Wally West might be coming back. He might not be really dead. Rumor has it Wally West might even be the murderer. That this is all just sleight of hand. That Wally West, whatever. I guess this is a nine issue story. We'll see what happens here. Frankly, I just don't care. I'm not invested in this story. I'm, the most. I think the most fascinating parts of this story was, watching Harley Quinn beat up Booster Gold. As Harley Quinn is beating on Booster, I actually wanted to do that too because I'm still pissed off at how stupidly he was portrayed in the pages of Batman. That I actually quite enjoyed watching Harley kick the shit out of him. There's that. And again, beautiful art. A little bit odd. Apparently, we find out at the end that this sanctuary place is. It appears to be in Kansas. It looks like it's in the Kent family farm. Even some of the robots there, they look like Jonathan and Martha Kent. So Superman and all his infinite wisdom, combined with the wisdom of Athena, of Wonder Woman, and Batman's keen detective skills, they thought in their genius, what better way to build a sanctuary than have it look exactly like Clark Kent's family farm, and have Jonathan and Martha Kent, really robots, taking care of everybody. That won't compromise our secret identities at all, will it? Again, am I nitpicking? Little continuity screw up there, or not a continuity screw up, but a little bit maybe a dumb thing to do. Things that make you go, Did Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman all have a collective brain fart at the same time? Apparently they did. But hey, it's not that, whatever. It is what it is. Yet another thing we have to let go. Because if you think too much and try to make sense of this, it will make your brain hurt. But don't worry, I'm just getting warmed up. I just say that so you guys remember me. That's going to be my new catchphrase. You can call me Hotspot. I'm just getting warmed up. Good grief. But, actually, I'm in the middle of my sanctuary. But I'm the only patient here. In any event. So Booster Gold and Harley Quinn discover at the end that, my God, they thought the other one was the murderer, that they wiped out and killed all the patients. But they were wrong. They don't know who it is now. And Batman's all upset, and all these all these little scenes, Batman's, deep observation at the end, you know, he says, so it means that what we already know it means, what it always means. Our hope for redemption is now just another hunt for vengeance. Well, first of all, Batman, who are you kidding? Okay, you don't have any hope for redemption, Batman. Last time I checked, Batman, your idea of redemption was Arkham Asylum. You know what that? Remember that, Batman? Arkham Asylum, that revolving door where you send the Joker and all your other hardcore, kick-ass, deadly villains that kill, on average, probably 10, 15, 20,000 of Gotham citizens every single year because you don't have the balls to kill them. Eh? How's Arkham Asylum? How's that working for you, Batman? Not too good. And you're surprised about Sanctuary? Wake up, honestly. But whatever. It's one of those things that it really makes me wonder. You know, exactly what they're going to do now because of the Trinity has always done this. If they've always had a Sanctuary, and Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman have been sending these heroes and villains and their friends to Sanctuary to heal. I'm curious as to how long this has been going on. What are they going to do about it? How are they going to react to this? You know, and what would be the motive for one of the patients to go nuts and to do it? Well, we got a little bit of hint of a motive here because when they wiped out, apparently the person that wiped out and killed all the patients wrote something on the wall. And what they wrote on the wall, they referred to something called meddlers. And let me get to it here. The puddlers, the puddlers are all dead. That's what it says on the wall. The puddlers are all dead. And Wonder Woman makes the observation that puddler is a term for those who work in iron, who make weapons, swords. Puddlers skim the molten metal. They remove the impurities so that the iron can be strong. So, by implication, this person, this murderer, considers some of these heroes and villains puddlers because they're sort of they're impure, they're imperfect, they're flawed in some way, probably psychologically compromised. I mean, you must be if you're at the Sanctuary. So conveniently, the Sanctuary, gathers all the impurities. So what a perfect place to go to wipe out impurities than in a place like Sanctuary that actually collects them all. Thank you, Trinity. Thank you for your help. Now I know where to go to do my mass massacring of puddlers. And so that's interesting and really not surprising. But again, you would think that they would have a little bit more security, that there would be more security than what we're exposed to here. I got some other nitpicks here. I don't think Superman would talk like a military officer. He approaches Sanctuary talking about confirmed. He approaches in a very police-like CSI fashion, and Wonder Woman, he's talking to Wonder Woman and Batman, and Wonder Woman's Batman's reminding Superman not to touch anything. I mean, Superman can see from miles away, but he's taking his time and he's checking out the scene, and it doesn't. Some of the voice of Superman doesn't really sound like Superman. There's the only one scene that emotionally maybe had a little bit of just a little bit maybe where you could see Superman being upset. He put his hand to his face when he saw that Hotspot was dead and he couldn't remember what Hotspot's catchphrase was. I'm just warming up or whatever. That was, and because Tom King showed Hotspot in the 9-panel grid talking about wanting to be remembered, and that's why he wanted that catchphrase. There's that. Beyond that, I really don't know. I'm not really sure where this is headed, and this is definitely not a crisis. This is not something worthy of the name Crisis. I think that was a bad name. I think it should have been called Sanctuary, to be honest. It's much more appropriate. This isn't Heroes in Crisis. Number one, villains are there as well, so the name's inappropriate. Heroes are always in crisis anyway. It's just, it is what it is. I know it's a nitpick, but it's something that sort of grates on me a little bit. It is what it is. I know I sound like I'm really maybe being a little bit ornery about this. I actually don't mind this issue. I mean, it's intriguing. The art alone is so beautiful. I love the art by Clayman. Clayman art, I can't say enough about it. I will give a quick sort of complaint. One of the variant covers had the death of Superman on it, which was stupid. I don't know why they have those big. What does the death of Superman have to do with Sanctuary? Sanctuary is for treatment of heroes that are psychologically going through something difficult. Superman was dead. Has nothing to do with Sanctuary. You can't treat a corpse. Okay? Dumb. Really stupid. I don't know why they would have the Death of Superman on there. Why? In fact, a lot of the variant covers don't seem to make a lot of sense in terms of why they're on there. There's the blank variant. I got that, and then there's another variant. There's another cover with Booster fighting Harley Quinn. Beautiful cover by J.G. Jones, which is really good. Nice to see his art again. And in any event, guys, tell me what you think of this. I got, I think, from a continuity perspective, from a dialogue perspective, from a character perspective, there's all kinds of ways to butcher this comic. And I think that Tom King in many ways did that. But if you're not a long-time DC reader and you're just picking this up for shits and giggles, you'll probably get some shits and giggles out of it. But what you won't get is any tears. Because it's just not that sad. and ironically enough, even if you love Wally West, I don't think you're going to care that he's gone here. There's just no sense of loss. And it's pretty sad that in an issue that involves a massacre of an entire infirmary of patients called Sanctuary, that there's just no sense of sadness. And that's sad. And that's my review. Guys, tell me what you think. And until next time, Comic Boom, out.